Hello everyone and welcome. I'm going to be doing something that I started out doing a lot of, and then I've kind of, I don't know, been trying lots and lots of other different things. So and then I was watching a video by Debra Lyn Rosenbach Art. I'll leave a link to her YouTube channel, and she's inspired me to have a go at doing some loose watercolour. So let's have a look at what I'm going to be using. I have got some Saunders Waterford paper here. It's £300, 300 GSM, £640. That's right. So this is really thick watercolor paper, and gosh, I bought some of this ages ago when I was doing the more loose watercolors. But yeah, I've dug it out today because I'm going to have another go. Right, what have I got? I've got my Rosa Gallery paints out. So those are the colours in my palette. I'll shout out what I'm using. And I've got quite a few brushes out, ones that I really haven't used for a while. So this is a Jackson's Raven size 2. This one is a Frank Clark Simply Painting. Does it give a size? Nope. But it's like a flat, and I think it's goat's hair. Then I've got my one and only pure squirrel brush. Everything else is synthetic. This is the Medium Pro Art Series 50 Pure Squirrel, and it's kind of an oval shaped brush. I've got my size 12 Van Gogh round out. I've got, what's this one? This is the Princeton Velvet Touch Petals brush in a size 10. So this is kind of got that weird shape to it. And then I've got this out, which is a Da Vinci. And what size is that saying it is? Gosh, I'm not sure. Or whether that's just a mark. But this is the brush that's got the, they call it lithograph on the end. I'll double check before I send out my video, upload it rather. But basically you can draw with this end of the brush, and then we've got this lovely, I don't know, this might be pure squirrel as well. I think this brush was about £50. It was quite a lot of money at the time, so I've decided I need to use it more. And I've got this, what is this? Fibonacci 0.1. So this is like a little, sorry, blotchy hands with paint because I've been doing other things today. But this is like a little rigger, basically. So water, cloth, paper. Let's get this back in shot. Oh, okay, right. Where to start? I think I'm going to use this petals one. So I'm playing. I don't know what's going to happen with this. I want quite a dark green. So I'm going to use my Indent Throne Grey. It's quite a dark colour. And I'm going to add, let's add some of the aureolin to it. So that I get almost like a, there we go, like a perylene green colour. And let's kind of start with that. And I'm going to get some This is going to be like a loose floral, which was the demonstration that Debra Lyn Rosenbach was doing. So let's try and get some shapes in here for our stalks. And as you can see, I'm just probably need a bit more paint there actually. Where is my, there's my Danthrone grey. And a bit more of my Aureolin. Let's try and get a bit more paint on my brush, because this paper is actually quite thirsty. And I might even take my, there's my smaller brush. Try and get that a bit darker still. And let's get some more wiggles in here. Darker ones. Probably not going up high enough in some places. Right. Next, I'm going to try and follow the technique. We need to get quite a big brush, so I'll use this Pure Squirrel oval one. And mush it about a bit, but not going upwards. So the idea is to blend it out rather than, so you have to work quite quickly, because we don't want these funny lines going up to the sky, but we just need to blend it in a bit more. And we can make those a bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Defined later. Right. I don't think that's too bad, apart from, hold on. Let me just scrub that out a bit. Right. Okay. I think I've done all right with that. Let's get, let's use this Van Gogh that I hardly ever use, and pick now should we go for, let's go for quinacridone lilac, which is a really nice colour, and I need to get a lot of that on my brush. And then make sure we're, okay. Oof. Well, you know, I'm just following the idea. You know, we don't want them to look too perfect, but at the same time, where's my tissue? I don't particularly want them to spread too far either. So just going to tidy some of those up. And maybe introduce something a little bit. What's this one? This one is Magenta Rose. It's just a slightly different colour. So we'll get plenty of that on my brush. And I'm just going to tap some of that in just some of these spaces. That's spreading a bit too far again, I think. So let's, because I think this will just make it glow a bit more. Yeah. Right, now let's go back to my little brush here. And let's just really darken that colour right up. And just trying to get some definition between some of the flowers. And I'm going to get a really dark bit in. Oh, I'm liking that. Okay, let's pop you there. And just add a bit more of the dark in there as I go. Let's pop a bit there. And we could have a bit there. And we don't necessarily need them to follow down all the way. Yeah, here, I think. Those funny little ones at the top there. And obviously I'm going to have to define some of these a bit more. And some of it's running in a bit. So yeah, let's keep adding a bit more of this dark colour. Right, I'm quite liking what I've got so far, but I will need to define them a tad more, I think. But now then, let's try adding make sure that's clean. I need a yellow. Oh, which yellow? Should I go with quinacridone gold? I might go with, or yellow ochre. Yellow ochre. Let's be on the safe side and go with some yellow ochre. Make sure I've got quite a bit on there. Just so as I can get some sunny bits in. So let's kind of smush you about a bit. I'm using this word a lot, smush. Yeah, I don't want you to do that. Okay, I'm liking that bit down there. I'd quite like... Oh, it's going to run a bit, isn't it? Never mind, maybe if I just dab lightly. I feel like I almost need... Yeah, that's probably going to be better. I need to do something about that, because that didn't go quite in the right place, but we're fine. Yeah, I just think adding a touch of yellow has brightened it up a bit, really. Right, let's just fold my tissue again, because some of these are kind of bleeding too far. So let's see if we can do something about that there. Yeah. And this one, a bit more tissue needed. Let's use you. You're not wet enough for me to do anything with, but you are. Okay, I'm probably mumbling. I'm really having to think here, so that I can, yeah. Okay. Oh, just put my finger in the green. Yeah. I mean, all the time this is gradually just want to scrub some of that a bit more. At the bottom. Yeah. That's good. Right, I prefer that. Right. What's next? Do I leave that to dry and then get like another layer on the top, maybe? Yes, let's do that. So I will be back shortly when my mouse works. Let's get on pause. There we go. Okay, I mean, it's not completely dry, but I mean, obviously you can see I haven't taped this paper down because it's so thick. There's no need to do that, even when using heaps of water. So I've pulled out another palette. This is my Michael Harding palette. However, it's got one colour in it that is not Michael Harding's, and that is the Holbein Bright Rose. And I've decided that I need that Holbein Bright Rose in there. So let's get some of you loaded on my brush. And okay. Yeah, I'm liking this bright rose. It's just adding another element. That looks too contrived. Right, tissue again. And that looks better. Okay, we need some more of this really dark green. What did I use? Aureolin. Aureolin. And this is, you know, setting right the fact that, you know, when watercolour dries, you know, it dries lighter than we think it's going to do. So quite often we end up having to add let's go here. I don't like that. Let's just wipe you out a bit. And yeah, we could probably do with one there. I don't want to go too berserk with it because I want some to look as though they're in the more in the background than anything else. However, that one I think needs something. More of these darker lines in, constantly adjusting as I go, really. Okay, now I feel like we need yeah, see, this one's right at the front and it's not looking right. Let's go back in with some of this is it quinacridone lilac. And then get that a bit darker at the bottom. Yep, okay, that's a bit better. Right, do I need to add some more of that darker? Where is my other brush gone? Oh, okay, there's my brush and my filthy water. Goodness gracious me. The fun of doing loose watercolour. Right, let's grab a bit more of you again and make just some of these at the front a bit darker somehow. Okay, I think that's slightly better, because now we've got some darker tones, lighter tones, but I feel like I need a brighter green in there. What have I got? This aureolin green. Let's grab some of you. Right, I think I'm finished with that one. And just maybe I'll too much there. Dab a bit out. Don't want it to look like anything as such. That looked a bit too much like a leaf. And then we've got to be careful not to cover up some nice white space that we've left. Yeah, that green then just adds a little bit of a pop, I think. Right. Maybe we'll take this one, the magenta rose, and just add a few splats, not heaps, she says while she keeps going. Some lighter ones, maybe a little bit up there, because then it looks kind of painterly and shows that it's watercolour. Oh, I don't know. Do I need to do anything else? Or will I just be causing more problems? I think maybe a bit more dark down here. Do I, don't I? I want it to look kind of scribbly and yeah. And should I have a few that are sticking out a bit more at the top? Okay, right, stop before I go too far. Right, I'm going to dry this and I'll be back. Okay, I've got a few bits that I'm not happy with, and I'm going to use my bleed-proof white. But I'm going to water that down a bit in a minute. I just wasn't happy with those couple of bits. So I'm just gonna blend in a bit more. And so that the white bits don't look too odd on their own. I'm just going to, more water needed. I really want to blend those out a lot more so that they just look like white of the paper that I've kept in a couple of places. Yeah, and then I think that's left me some nice blobs rather than those that had kind of run everywhere. Don't know whether to add a little bit of white anywhere else, or whether I will just be ruining it. It's so hard, isn't it? Where's my bleed proof white? Let's just make you really watered down. So that we've blend, blend, blend. Yeah, I don't mind that. I think that's all right. Right. Got some darks. Let's just squint. Definitely got some darks. Got some mid-tones. We've got some lights. Yeah. Well, let's just move my paints out of the way a moment, like I always do. Let's put my painting in the middle there, and you tell me, what do you think? Do you like it? I quite like it, and I'm glad I used the really thick 640-pound 300 GSM paper. There you go. This is me going back to doing some of my loose painting, which is kind of where I started from, really. So let me know what you think. I love hearing your comments, and please subscribe if you can. It really helps me, and thank you so much for being there and supporting me, all of you. Even if you just watch once and never come back again, it is all supporting me, and I am very grateful. So thank you, and see you next time.